So what is next for Conor McGregor after UFC 264? Because I'm sure Conor's asking himself that same exact question, and the event itself had to definitely put a fork in his plans, whether it was a win or a loss. I'm sure he wasn't anticipating this particular scenario to play out, and now it did, so here we are. I've seen a lot of people saying, that Conor's done or Conor should retire, and now personally, do I believe Conor should retire? Do I think Conor is done? No, but we do have to consider the timeline of everything that's going to play out from here on out, because Conor just had his birthday yesterday. He turned 33, and an injury like this is going to take at least minimum 1 whole year, maybe a year and some change, couple months, a year and a half. So by the time Conor comes back, he's going to be at least 34. He could be even close to 35. And if we look at the peak performance for a human here, it's anywhere from that 29 to 33ish range. So right now he's kind of going to be towards the end of his I guess his prime years. So when he comes back, he's definitely going to be either out of his prime or right there on the edge of just probably being done. Now we do also have to consider, Conor's probably had maybe 5 fights in the past 5 years. So realistically, he hasn't taken a whole lot of damage for somebody, that's been in the sport of mixed martial arts as long as he has. But we also have to consider, when people leave their prime, sometimes that extra step, and in Conor's case, that fast twitch, the speed and that timing, that little split second or whatever that made him so special, that made him a great striker, could be thrown off a little bit, and he might not have just that extra step. So that could affect his performances. Ultimately though, I don't believe Conor McGregor is done, even if he is out of his prime a little bit. A name like Conor McGregor, someone who's a needle mover like him that can put butts in seats, he'll get big fights. He could even get, I wouldn't even be surprised if he got another title shot just because of the name, the draw he is. Money talks in the UFC. If they find the right fight for him and it makes sense, I definitely think he could still compete at a high level, even though he may not perform that exact same way. But I do believe Conor's definitely going to have to rack up at least 1, maybe 2 wins before we start talking about that kind of stuff again. Because if you look at his record right now, you can't really have a resume like that and fight for a title. So that brings us to who could potentially Conor face next in his upcoming fight after his leg injury. One of the biggest names that stick out to me, and I'm sure a lot of other people already talked about this, is the Nate Diaz matchup. The trilogy fight that people have been waiting for honestly 3-4 years now. It's been a while, and both these fighters now are coming off of a 2-fight losing skid. So if this fight happens, somebody's got to break their skid, somebody's got to win, and I think it would be a great way to top off the trilogy because both fighters are 1-1. As the fans, we kind of want to figure out who actually would win this trilogy. That's definitely going to sell. The UFC is going to make a bunch of money off that. Dana would definitely be down for it. And I think stylistically, I feel like it favors Conor, even though Diaz is a pretty durable dude. He's one of those guys like Chris Moutinho this past weekend that'll just take all your shots, keep going forward at you, and eventually just that one shot will land for him and it could change the whole entire course of the fight. But I feel like overall, if Conor can fix cardio issues, I think Conor could actually come out victorious because Diaz is a little bit older now too. I don't know, it'll be interesting because I'm a much bigger Diaz fan than I am a Conor fan, but I feel like that would be a good fight for Conor, a good bounce back fight and a good publicity fight for them both to make money, and a great way to get Conor's name back on the UFC scene. Another matchup that does stand out to me, and not a lot of people have been talking about, another fighter that's coming off a 2-fight losing skid that I genuinely believe would be a fantastic fight and a phenomenal draw, probably more exciting than the Diaz fight and might sell just as well, and that is a Jorge Masvidal matchup. Jorge Masvidal, Conor could go up to 170. He's went back and forth between 155 and 170 in recent years. And I think if he were to go back up to 170, Masvidal is the fight that makes the most sense because I feel like that is a very competitive fight for both fighters. It would be a tough fight to really predict who would win. I feel like Conor has a little bit more power, a little bit more speed, so it could make things interesting, but I think overall as a well-rounded fighter and a well-rounded striker, I think Masvidal is right up there in terms of being a good striker, and I think he might be a little bit more well-rounded of a fighter. And again, from a needle-moving standpoint and putting butts in seats, that fight's gonna sell. I guarantee you Dana would be on board if both guys wanted to do it. I feel like that'd be another phenomenal bounce back fight because again, both fighters on a 2-fight losing skid. Somebody has to bounce back from the skid, and I think it would be a phenomenal fight and a great payday for both the guys. And a win like that for Conor, even if it were at 170 and he wants to go down and fight for the belt at 155, I guarantee you a win like that and the hype would definitely translate and carry over to 155 for a potential title shot maybe. And another name that definitely does stand out to me, probably Conor doesn't want this fight, and if you're a Conor fan, you probably don't want this fight, but this would be a phenomenal fight, and from a story standpoint, you could definitely get this to sell, and that is the Islam Makhachev fight. If Makhachev, by the time Conor does actually get back, he could be at the top of the division, maybe in the top 5, top 3, could even potentially be champion. You never know. A lot of people say that this guy's gonna be champion Khabib, and a lot of those guys are super big on him, saying he's gonna be the next guy to kind of be the next Dagestani champion. I feel like the story in the background with Conor and Khabib could definitely translate over to Islam and Conor, because Khabib would definitely be there, so you definitely get some drama, and obviously being Khabib Khabib's protege, like the next guy in line after Khabib. That would be a phenomenal fight. I guarantee you it would sell, and especially if Makhachev can rack up a few more wins, get to the top of the division, that would be a phenomenal fight. A very, very tough fight for Conor and a great payday for Makhachev. It'd be a very interesting fight for the fans, and I think it would kind of be like the potential sequel that we never really got with Khabib. It would definitely be a phenomenal story to push because the drama is already there. And Islam would, I guarantee you Islam would take a fight like that because it's a nice payday, and I feel it could be a phenomenal name for someone like Islam to add to his resume. Nonetheless, though, it'll be interesting to see who Conor actually does match up against once he does get back, and hopefully he does heal up and get back sooner rather than later. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did, please be sure to drop a like, share this video if you guys know anyone else that enjoys this type of content and would enjoy my videos. Please, please, please send my video their way. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I want to hear from you guys. I want to know who you guys want to see Conor face off against in the comment section below. What do you think of these potential matchups? I'm curious to hear your thoughts and opinions. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
I just want to say keep up the good work. And if you guys do everything that you're doing right now, even more exponentially, we could go to the top of this whole fucking market, dude. Fuck yeah.